Hey everyone, nice to see you again. Thanks for being here today. We want to tell you a brand new story. Let's start. Some betrayals are so deep that you can't get over them. I learned that the hard way, so trust me. That's why I always think that when two people get married, it's because they have the same plans for the future. Even if they don't always agree, they trust each other enough to be honest. It looks like I was wrong. Take a seat, because this isn't just a story about lying. You should learn from this when to leave someone for good. Hey, my name is Jimmy. I didn't get rich by inheriting money, and no one ever gave me something for free. Like most people, I worked hard, stayed up late, and gave up things they wouldn't even think about in order to make money. To get to the point where I didn't have to think about money, I built my business from scratch and worked every day. And getting rich was never the only thing that made me successful. It was about building a strong base for a family. My dream has always been that. I wished for a home that was full of love, happiness, and the warmth that comes from having kids play. I didn't just want to give things to people. I longed to have kids. I thought I had found a woman who would make that dream come true when I met Clara. In every way, she was beautiful. She was sure of herself, strong, and full of energy. We hit it off right away because of how gracefully she carried herself. It was easy to talk to each other, and there was an obvious spark between us. I quickly became aware of my desire to be with her. From the start, I was very clear about what I wanted to happen in my life. She told me how much I loved my family, how important it was to me to have kids, and how I saw my life based around a strong, loving home. She never said anything. She never said she didn't believe in that dream. She smiled and nodded instead, which made me think we were on the same page. I realized she never said the words, "I want kids too," when I looked back. I didn't think to ask for explanation at the time, though. You can assume someone agrees with something important if they don't say anything against it. And I thought that we were on the same page. We got married soon after. At least at first, it was everything I had hoped for. Clara liked the good things about being married to me. The safety, the comfort, and the freedom to move and not worry about money. She immediately accepted the way of life. Clara was just enjoying the present while I was making plans for a future we could share. There weren't cracks in our marriage right away, but I can remember when they first appeared. Once the honeymoon was over, Clara started to pull away. At first, she tried to avoid talking about having kids. I was clear before we got married. To me, a family with kids running around was ideal. Back then, she had just smiled and nodded, never saying anything else. I brought it up again after the wedding, but she would either brush it off or act like I was bothering her. She would say things like, "Let's not rush into things," or, "Why do we have to talk about this now?" She would sigh like I was tiring her, roll her eyes, and look for a reason to leave the room if I pushed her any further. I didn't want to believe it at the time because it was covert. Then there was the space. Little acts of love that happened every day started to go away. No more kissing for fun in the kitchen while I brewed coffee. No more grabbing my hand when we walk or giving me hugs out of the blue. At night, she would move to the other side of the bed, which made a wall between us. I asked her about it at first because I thought something might be wrong. She always had a reason. She was worn out. She had a headache. She was just stressed, but she kept making excuses. As the weeks changed into months, I realized I had become a stranger in my new marriage. She could talk to me whenever she wanted, but she didn't really want to be close to me. It got worse when she turned away from me and into her own world. She started going on more trips, and each time it was with a different group of people. Some were from work, and some I had never heard of before. And she would say, "It's just a girls' trip." But I was never invited, even if I didn't have time to go. She also chose things without me. She bought pricey things, changed the way her apartment looked, and even moved up in her job without even talking to anyone. But I still had to pay the credit card bills when they came due. She still enjoyed all the nice things I bought for her and never hesitated to spend the money I worked hard for. The worst part? I might have understood if she had yelled, fought, or even just told me she was upset. She didn't, though. In my mind, I was only her husband in name, while she lived her life as if she were single. The marriage was no longer a relationship. She took something from me, and I gave something back. The more I gave, the more I saw that she didn't care. When I opened the drawer one night to look for a pen, I accidentally touched a folded piece of paper that was stuck between old receipts and other junk. I'm not sure why, but I felt like I should look. As I read, the words skipped over my mind for a split second. But then I realized this was a medical record from a recent abortion. She was having a baby. She didn't tell me she was having my child. She made the choice, went to the doctor, signed the papers, and had the surgery without telling me anything. It was hard for me to keep track of how long it was. How many times had we eaten dinner together while she kept this to herself? When she kissed me goodbye in the morning, how many times did she know that she had already erased your child? It wasn't a mistake. She made this choice without me. Since the day we got married, she knew I had dreamed of being a dad. Now, with one move, she had shattered that dream without even talking to me. She had no plans to have children. She never meant for us to build a life together the way I had pictured it. I was lied to for years by her, making me believe in a future she had no plans to give me. I thought I was lied to, abused, and stupid. I had to speak to her. So I could see if she felt even a little guilty, I had to hear her say it. When she walked in that night, I held up the paper and said something angry in a tight voice. Yes, that was all I could do at first. Why didn't you talk to me first? Why didn't you tell me? Before rolling her eyes at me like I was exaggerating, she barely looked at the paper. Then, in a very cold voice, she said, I am not your slave. I choose what I need. My body, my rules. As I stared at her, I couldn't believe how easily she forgot about the life she had erased. She didn't say sorry. For a moment, anger made it hard for me to see. Then, just as quickly, I was hit by reality. She would win if I let my anger get the best of me. I knew how to play. As soon as I raised my voice, she became angry. If I let out my anger, she would act like the bad guy. She could turn this into something that would kill me if I get too close. That's what I did. Backpedaled. She would soon understand that she couldn't change what happened next. I gave one nod. Okay, I said in a voice that was eerily quiet. Your body, your rules. It would be her life without me, and I would make sure she got it. The way I usually get divorced would drag me through the courts, make me fight for things I got on my own, and I might even have to pay alimony to the woman who cheated on me. The system wasn't made to keep guys like me safe. It was meant to punish us. That meant I had to be smart. It had to be cold. The most important thing was that I had to leave before she saw me. I began making plans for my escape. First, I needed to be safe in court. I didn't just pick a lawyer. I hired one of the best lawyers in the business, an expert in divorces involving a lot of money, who knew how to make sure I got away with nothing. We worked together in secret and filed for divorce in a state where men have more rights than women. This way, if Clara found out what was going on, it would be too late for her to use the system against me. When I got divorced, my lawyer helped me move my money and property into accounts and trusts that were legally shielded from the settlement. Every account we had together was frozen, so she couldn't take anything out of them out of anger. It would be pointless for her to go to court and try to take what was mine if she didn't have my money to pay for it. It had to be just the right time. I watched her routine while she waited because I knew that one of her girls' trips was about to happen. I got everything going the day she left. The movers came in and took all of my things out of the house, including clothes, papers, and even small personal items. I got off of all social networks and changed my personal phone number. I will be gone by the time she comes back. I will be living in a different state and won't be easy for her to find. I will have a new home and a new life. I forgot to leave a message. Why would I? The plan was for my lawyer to take care of everything. As soon as she got home, the divorce papers would have been ready for her. She knew the accounts were frozen, but she wasn't allowed to do anything about it. Before she even knew what was going on, everything was taken care of. I will no longer pay for credit cards. No more luxuries that cost me money. Could she have filed a lawsuit? She might sue a ghost, though. I had already moved to a different state and put my money in a way that she couldn't get to it. It was easy, but she could get angry and cry about how unfair it was. She chose what to do, and now she had to live with it. My lawyer was the best, even if she filed the case. I wouldn't even have to go. He had thought of every possible way she could try to attack him. She couldn't take anything or claim anything else. Even if she screamed and fought, she would still be by herself in the end. Will she look for me? I don't care and don't know. You can't find me. She would waste a lot of money on a case she was sure to lose if she went to court. Will her friends stay with her? Not sure. I always thought they liked the way of life I gave them more than they cared about her. They were there when there were trips to take, nice dinners to enjoy, and gifts to get, but I thought most of them would have disappeared without my money. That kind of person doesn't stay when they have nothing to gain. How is she going to handle it? I have no idea. Maybe she made her life better. She may have had trouble. That was no longer my problem. I only knew I was free. Less love for one side only. Do not break any more promises. Not being used anymore. What I took from her, her body and her rules, was exactly what she wanted. What I gave her was my life and my freedom. It wasn't easy to start over, but the freedom was worth it. I put all of my energy into my work, made more investments, and got back in touch with the things that made me happy, which I had put off while trying to make a woman who wasn't grateful happy. Because I had been giving so much, I forgot how to take care of myself. I focused on my health, my goals, and myself. Now, every choice I made was mine alone, and I can't tell you how much peace of mind I felt when I was free from someone who only drained me. I don't feel bad about going at all. I used to think that love meant making sacrifices, being patient, and working through problems no matter what. But the truth is that love should never feel like a duty that only one person has to fulfill. I gave Clara everything, my trust, my love, and my money, and she took it all without a thought. She didn't care about what I wanted and didn't understand that marriage is a two-way street, so I made sure she would never be able to use me again. Some of you might think I was too mean. You might think I should have talked to her about it, pushed for my rights, or tried to make things right one more time, but why? What did you need to fix? It was clear that it was her body and her rules, so I made mine too, for my life and my freedom. I left without a fight because there was nothing left to fight for. If your partner treats you like an afterthought in your relationship, don't waste your time talking, just leave, walk away, and don't look back. What do you think about the choice I made? Was cutting off all ties and fleeing too much of a step? Or was it the only way to get over someone who never cared about me? Do you know what you would have done differently if you were married to someone who didn't care about your feelings or goals and made life all about them? Would you have stayed and fought for a marriage that wasn't working? Or would you have left like I did? Leave a comment below and tell me what you think about this. If you liked this story, it might help someone else or open your eyes. Please like and share this movie with them. They might feel trapped in a relationship where they're not valued, just like you. They might need that last push to see how valuable they are. Your help gets these stories to more people who can connect, no matter what.